believe we're live. So today we're joined with Ray. Ray, welcome.
Good, good evening, Talk Dirty audience.
So, Ray, tell us a little bit about yourself. So we know like I know they don't know. I know that you're into martial arts and stuff, but tell us about yourself.
Well, I've been in the personal safety or martial arts industry for the last going on 44 years now. I got into it because, like most martial artists, they got bullied when they were a kid. Um, Once I got into martial arts, I just fell in love with it and chose that as my career path. Once I got my black belt, I took over the school that I started at. I bought my instructor out at the age of 20. So at the age of 20, I was a business owner. Ran that brick and mortar business for about 25 years. Then started a nonprofit, ran that for 17 years. The nonprofit was called Heroes in Action, where I did more lectures and seminars, still promoting personal safety for kids, women, businesses. And now I am doing Self Defense Pros, which is a consulting and training company, which I work with martial arts schools on curriculum development, retaining students, getting new students, staff development, dealing with burnout, or the staff is, they're not learning anything new. Let's teach them something new so they're excited and they can pass that information on to the students. So I'm having a good time just doing seminars and lectures and not worrying about a brick and mortar school with all the extra headaches of overhead expenses and things like that. I just help other businesses grow as much as I can.
Right. And so, how old were you when you started martial arts?
15 years old, and that'll tell you how old I am. I'm 59 now, so
Damn, you definitely don't look it. So you look great for your age.
I I, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm 41, so definitely getting up there, right? Um,
Yes, yes, and your body will tell you
yes.
that as well.
So you're not rolling around on the floor like you used to as a kid?
Not as much. No, I was extreme. I competed on a national level. I've done the kickboxing, full contact kickboxing, boxing. I've trained a lot of my students for MMA. And now I've had multiple knee surgeries from ACL tears, both of my hips replaced. So yeah, I can't kick like I used to and do what I used to be able to do. So that's why I'm focusing on the coaching and consulting.
Right, right. So, in my line of business, which I'm a trash driver, I've heard of like girls on route and stuff like that getting into trouble. Would you have any advice for them, like with like guys or being like messed with on route?
For trash delivery, I'm thinking you're going to deal with animals as far as dogs, people's dogs getting loose. You're going to deal with homeowners that, how come you're not throwing this piece of furniture or whatever in your truck? Because you're not slated to do that. I don't know if you're dealing with recyclables or if you just deal with the trash and the stuff, but you're going to be dealing more with disgruntled homeowners that, hey, you ruined my trash can, or hey, you didn't take what you were supposed to take, or you left trash on my yard, you didn't clean it up. Am I right so far?
Right, right, right. Well, so we actually interviewed a girl a while ago, about 3 months ago, and she said she had a stalker, following her
Th-
around.
Does she do the route by herself, or does she have?
We all do our routes by ourselves. All of our trucks are automated.
Okay.
So, like, what kind of defensive moves could you tell her to use if she ever?
Well, the biggest thing is just get the hell out of there because I tell people You never know how many people you're going to have to deal with. You don't know if they have weapons.
Right.
So, how do you know if I have a weapon or not? You assume I have a weapon. How do you know if I have friends or not? You assume I have friends. And the safest thing is just to get out of there. Now, if they've blocked your truck to where you can't get out of there, hopefully you guys have radio systems to where you can, no
Yes.
radio. You're going to have 911 on speed dial, but then does the company allow you guys to have any type of tools like pepper spray, tasers, or anything like that on your person?
No.
Okay, so you
Only.
can't carry concealed, you can't carry that.
That's
So
right.
you're gonna have to learn how to physically defend yourself. Her biggest thing would be her biggest thing would be running to a neighbor's house, banging on the door, and getting them to call the police.
Right.
But if they physically grab you, again, the variables change. I have to know how big the person is, how he's grabbing her. Is there more than one person? Is he taking her to the ground? I have to also know what her physical limitations are. What's her size? What's her weight? What's her strength, her reach, and things like that.
Right.
Those are all factors for her to be effective in getting away from someone. It's not about beating the person up. As a civilian, your goal is escape, get away.
Exactly. So your best advice would be try to get away. Run them over with a truck. There you go.
If you can, yes. If they block your way and threaten you, then you have a truck that you could use as a tool to just say, okay, your car just got smashed.
Right. Definitely. So you said you've competed. Where have you competed at? Like state level, region level?
So for traditional martial arts, that's on a national level. That's pick a state. I've competed pretty much in almost all most of the states for like they have katas, point fighting, weapons divisions, musical routines. I did this back when I was 20, 30 years old. I had a whole team that
Oh,
a
okay.
traveling team that we competed. When I retired from competing on the point fighting circuit, now what I mean by point fighting, that's like a game of tag. You hit the person, and a judge says point, point. They point to whoever got the point. That's when I got into the full contact kickboxing, of which I did on a national level, and I've got 2 titles from there. And then from there, I competed in boxing, which I've won. I'm originally from St. Louis, so I won the St. Louis Golden Gloves, and I went to Kansas City for the Kansas City Ringside Tournament, which is an international event, and I won that event in my weight class. I've got a belt in there from that tournament. So,
Really cool. So you've
yeah.
you've done a lot of competing then, from martial arts
Yes.
to boxing.
Yes.
So do you ever play
Well,
UFC?
no, I mean, once my knees, because I had an ACL tear in my right knee at first, and then an ACL tear in my left knee. That's when I went from kickboxing, full contact kickboxing, to boxing because I couldn't kick competitively like I used to. So when my knees, were pretty much shot, that's why I transitioned into boxing at that time.
That's really cool. I mean, it definitely had a pretty good time with it. I
I'm
mean,
a fighter. You're not gonna stop me from fighting. I'm a fighter.
loved it. And so when you did the boxing, you went like you weren't able to go pro with it.
No, the way boxing works is you have novice divisions, which are you have 11 fights or less. Then you have your open class divisions where 11 fights up to 500, 600, whatever, where you try out for, you have your regional golden gloves, then your national golden gloves, and then you can work your way up to fighting to be on the Olympic team. Now, a lot of people, if they don't want to go through the Olympics, once they've had so many open class fights, then they can turn pro. And once they turn pro, then it's just building that reputation so people recognize you and fight. I never went pro at my age. Those people are, at that time, when I got into boxing, I was in my late 30s, early 40s. I was in what they would call the masters division, so I was in the old person division,
Oh, okay.
on more of an amateur level. But that doesn't mean I've fought pros, not for competing, but for training. I've sparred with a lot of pro fighters and held my own. So
That's really cool, man. That's definitely cool. What a legacy to leave, huh?
yeah,
Um,
no.
and so when did you decide you wanted to teach?
Um, well, when I was a green belt in martial arts, my instructor said, "Ray, go warm up the class." I'm like, "Huh? You want me to teach? You want me to warm up the class?" And he's like, "Yeah, the whole routine. Go warm up the class." So I went from warming up the class to when I got my brown belt. He took me under his wing and said, "Okay, this is how you do a beginner class. This is how you do an introductory class. This is what you teach. This is how you teach." And he broke everything down for me, and I got into it, and I kept getting better. But I tell people I'm a lifetime student. People go, "Well, what degree black belt are you?" I'll tell them I'm a lifetime white belt. I'm still learning. I'm a fourth degree black belt. I've been doing this for, I stopped getting promoted, mainly because I didn't care about getting promoted. People go, I had one of my mentors, his name was Joe Lewis. I got my third degree black belt under him. And he's like, "Ray, how come you didn't keep testing under me?" And I'm like, to be honest, when I got my first degree black belt, I was going to tournaments and I was fighting guys that were third, fourth, fifth degree black belts, and I was beating them. I mean, hands down. The rank is more for the school owners, where I'm a ninth degree grandmaster. Come train with me. It's their way of promoting themselves and their business to make them look better than the other martial arts school owners. People came to me because of my reputation. They didn't came to me because of a certificate that was hanging on the wall. They knew what I was capable of, and they knew that they were going to learn something that was going to be useful either on a competition level or a survival level for defending yourself in the streets.
Right. So when you were younger, did you ever have like an idol? Like who did you idolize?
Well, the movie that got me started was the movie Billy Jack, and once I saw that movie, this is dating myself. Then I got into all the kung fu theater movies, and of course Bruce Lee.
Mhm.
Then Steven Seagal, Jean Claude Van Damme. Anything that had to do with martial arts, I would watch.
Right.
Uh, I would love to be a fight choreographer for any movies. So if you're watching and you're a filmmaker and you're looking for a fight choreographer, give me a shout.
Definitely. It'd be really good, right? Now that'd be really cool. Now, is there any way to find you? Like, how can people find you if they want to like learn from you or anything like that? Is there any way to like get a hold of you?
Well, you can go to my Facebook page, Ray Amanat. I also have Self Defense Pros on Facebook, LinkedIn. I have a YouTube page, The Ray Amanat Show, which promotes both my podcast and all the videos. Like, let's say you took one of my seminars, and got a whole bunch of information. I would, after the seminar, say, "Now go to my website or go to my YouTube page." My website is coming soon. Don't worry. I'm getting a whole new website made. So I'm not going to say what it is until it's done. But in the meantime, you can go to YouTube and watch all the videos of everything that I taught you in the seminar. So it's a way for you to review the material and keep it fresh on your mind. Can you learn it without taking my seminar? Yeah, but it's not the same as an in-person seminar where if you do something wrong, I can physically show you why you're doing it wrong and what it's supposed to feel like. so that when you watch the video, you're going to remember that information. You can, if you're practicing with a family member or a buddy or a coworker, you'll be able to watch the videos and keep your skill set up to par.
Right, right. That's really cool. That's I mean, and so you do seminars. So you go places and show it off. You actually want to come to New York and do one.
Absolutely. I would love to come. I went to Fort Drum and did a series of child safety seminars for the military families at Fort Drum. But I would like to do women's self defense. I'd like to do corporate wellness as far as active shooter training and things like that. So, if any of your listeners or viewers are interested in that, have them talk to you and let's set up a seminar out in the New York area. I'd love to come out there and work with everybody.
Right. So if you guys are listening and you guys want to be trained a little bit, and you heard what he trains, definitely get a hold of me, and we'll set some up. We'll find somewhere big and get something going for him.
If you're dealing with, violence on the subway, if you're dealing with, you're a realtor and you're doing an open house and somebody shows up that wants to do you harm. If you're dealing with a home invasion, carjacking, whatever types of crimes that you guys deal with on a regular basis in New York, I would give you the information that addresses how to handle those crimes.
Right, right. And that'd be really good because I know a lot of people need it, and I really don't know anywhere around me that teaches that actually. Um, one of the viewers said Cobra Kai on Netflix.
Okay, what you see, it's funny you say that because my instructors were not Miyagi. My instructors were like the Cobra Kai. I'm an author of a book called Bully, Victim, or Hero. I started out as the victim in life. It's kind of an autobiography about my journey. Once I got really good at fighting, I became the bully, where I would just start fights or look for fights. And once I got my black belt and started doing all the teaching and running the classes, I had a parent that came to me and said, my child got suspended from school. And I'm like, why? And they're like, from doing what you told them to do. So I've been the victim, I've been the bully, I've been on both sides of the coin, and I had to come up with, um, I had to ask myself, what kind of a mentor or educator do I want to be to the people that I teach? That's where Heroes in Action got found. Instead of me focusing on the word bully, I focus on what it means to be a hero, how to stand up for yourself, and how to stand up for the people around you. So it's diffusing, de-escalating, and worst case scenario, it's non-lethal, justifiable use of force to lethal, justifiable use of force. So everything I teach is also in accordance with law.
Right, right. So, how long after you started taking the class till you started becoming the bully?
Oh, once once I started fighting at the dojo, and I was especially when I started competing in tournaments. I was 16 years old, and my instructor said, "Ray, I don't want you to fight in the kids division as a 16-year-old fighting other teenagers. I want you to start fighting in the adult divisions." So I was fighting grown adults and beating them. And once I started fighting all the time at my school at the dojo, all the adults that I was fighting, I was just picking them apart and just beating everyone. And that's when I said, all right, I'm not going to take shit from anyone anymore.
Right, right. So you just became the bully.
Yes,
So
that's
at what point did you decide, hey, I'm done being the bully. It's time for me to focus and do good.
well, that's where I was at the crossroads, where I asked myself, what type of a mentor do I want to be um, with the kids that I work with? I didn't want to be um, the Cobra Kai.
Right.
It's coming with a fine line. I want them to have the skill set to be able to flip a switch and hey, you're Cobra Kai. But I also want them to be able to be assertive and look for alternative ways out of a bad situation. These days where people are lawsuit happy, if you get into a conflict and hurt somebody, you're looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars in lawsuits, in attorney fees, in medical fees. Whether it's you got injured or you injured someone, somebody's going to have to pay for that, and that's going to be you.
Right, right. And that's why I let into it because you weren't that far away from being 18. And if you'd have fought at 18, now you're looking at going to jail.
Absolutely, yes. When I was uh, a young adult, 18. Well, actually, I was a bouncer in a lot of nightclubs in my 20s, so I got a lot of fighting experience as a bouncer.
And not what you
Uh,
asked for. That was
Not that I asked. No, it was me breaking up the fights. But that doesn't mean I didn't get hurt. I still got injured dealing with some of that stuff. And some of those injuries, some of the other bouncers that I've worked with, they've lost. One guy, he goes, I will never underestimate a little person. I was going to escort this guy out, and the guy goes, hey, I'm not going to do anything. And he turns around and sticks his thumb in the guy's eye, and he loses his eye because of that. And he goes, I will never underestimate a small person. You never know what somebody is capable of doing and when they're going to do it. So,
yeah, correct. You never size somebody up
right.
because that's always the wrong way to go.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people make that mistake. A lot of people will think, "Oh, that's a small guy. He can't fight." And go in there and the guy will
Usually, the people that are smaller than you also have weapons.
yep.
They're gonna have the knife. They're gonna have the gun. They're gonna have some type of tool or weapon to be an equalizer. So when I work with law enforcement or whatever, I ask the question: how do you know if somebody has a weapon? You assume that they do. By
Right.
assuming they have a weapon, you're going to pay a little bit more attention to where their hands are and what they're doing with their hands.
Right, right. 'Cause it's better that you know what they have than not.
Right.
Yes, correct. Um did I forgot what I was gonna ask you now. I had a question, but then it ran right out of my head. Um So, what was your best part of taking martial arts? Like, what was your best training? Because you said you done swords, you said you done like ground fight
Well,
stuff.
I started my initial black belt was in Taekwondo.
Okay,
That didn't answer all the questions that I wanted, so I started adding judo to the training, which gave me the ground game. But
right,
that didn't answer all the questions, so I got into Muay Thai, which gave me the middle range. So Taekwondo was long range, long distance range kicking. It was predominantly kicking. Muay Thai gave me the middle range, low line cut kicks, elbows, knees. That still didn't answer all the questions that I wanted. On a competition level, I started doing Chinese wushu, which is more. That's when I was real heavy into competition. That was a lot of your choreographed weapons for competing, not for practicality. Even though a lot of it, once you understand it, can be used in a practical manner. Then I got into the Filipino martial arts of Kali under Dan Inasano, Jim Smothers Sr., and later on under Michael Perry, which is stick, impact weapon, and edge weapon training, stick fighting, knife fighting. And that answered a lot of questions for me. From there, I got into working with executive protection, and private security. So now we're talking about non-traditional martial arts, but it's fighting systems specifically for security, law enforcement, and military. Um, Now tie all that together, and that's the curriculum that I teach. I've taken all the stuff, all the fluff that I think doesn't work. It's kind of like what Bruce Lee said with his JKD concepts, use what works. But I've taken everything over the years, all the training that I've done, and gotten rid of the fluff and kept only the stuff that I think will save someone's life. Everything that I teach has been pressure tested by law enforcement, by security, by military, to get themselves out of bad situations. When I go take a seminar from someone else that I'm learning from, I go skeptical. I go always what if, and I resist them as much as I can to see that it works. I will not teach you anything that has not worked on me
Right.
from working with other martial arts instructors or self-defense instructors in that world of security.
So, have you ever thought about teaching kids, like, from the beginning up, or are you more
I,
into like defense
No,
side?
I used to do that all the time. I had kids programs, women's programs. So what I do now is I do lectures. The lectures get people interested in the hands-on seminars, and the hands-on seminars. If somebody wants more one-on-one instruction, then I do private lessons. So the private lessons, I could do it for kids as young as 5, 6 years old, all the way up to the active senior. If you look at the training, my lectures are kind of like having a recruiter come to the school and say, hey, look at the Army, Navy, Marines, Space Force, whatever else, check it out. They talk to them and get their interest. Once they get interested, then they go to boot camp. Boot camp is basic training. So my 2 hour, 3 hour seminars are basic training that gives you a foundation for dealing with violence. And then those that want to specialize, hey, I want to be a Navy SEAL or Army Ranger or Green Beret or whatever special, I want to be a sniper or whatever. Well, then you do the private lessons with me to focus on what area you want to excel in, and you continue your training until you're happy with that. Or for me, it's never ending. Like I said, I'm a lifetime student. I'm always learning.
Right, right. Has your fighting ever got you in trouble?
No comment.
I had
Of
to ask that one.
course.
It does.
And I'm not commenting on it. No comment.
Yeah. So, like, if a kid is watching this right now, where would you have them start? Now, you said you started where you started, but where would you have a kid start now? Best place, best martial arts to start.
You have to understand there's a lot of different types of martial arts schools that are out there. Everyone's going to say, hey, Taekwondo is the best, Jiu-Jitsu is the best, whatever is the best. You're going to go to some schools and they're competition schools. Like my school, I was a competition school. Now, if I were to open a school, it would be a self-defense school. Like if you were to go to a Krav Maga school, that's Israeli martial arts, that's all self-defense. So you have your after school daycare martial arts schools, which are, hey, high five, you did such a good job. They're building self-esteem and confidence in the child, but the martial arts isn't, in my opinion, the best.
Right.
Then you have your sport karate schools, which, you get a lot of good training from that. Builds, self-esteem, confidence, competing on local tournaments, national tournaments. But again, sport karate, you're fighting based on rules.
Right.
For self-defense, there are no rules.
Right. Right.
I train with no rules. Now, I can train you boxing, kickboxing, point fighting. Guess what? That's all rules based.
Right.
You can't do this, you can't do this, you can't hit this area or whatever else based on the age range. It's all rules. I've been there, done that. Now, at my age and stage in life, I want to focus on the survival. I want to focus on the self-defense. I want to focus on the no rules, how to survive a violent attack. You got to remember, somebody that has violent intentions towards you is asking you. They're not verbally asking you, but they're physically asking you a simple question. What are you going to do about it? So if I punch you in the face, what are you going to do about it? If I choke you, what are you going to do about it? If I take you to the ground and start grounding and pounding you, what are you going to do about it? If I got a knife to your throat or a gun to your head, what are you going to do about it? If you don't have the answers to those questions, that's where my seminars come into play. I give you those answers.
Right. And you can definitely tell you teach seminars because you're really you're really emotional with it. That's pretty cool. I like that.
You
You're definitely the first
know,
emotional person we've had like that that speaks like that. So really
I,
deep.
in the past, people would ask me, Ray, what do you do for a living? And I'd say I teach martial arts, and I would always get, whoa, Karate Kid pose, and I could never have a serious conversation with anyone.
Right.
Now, if you were to ask me what I do for a living, I save lives. You're trusting me. When you train with me, you are trusting me with your life.
Right.
I'm not going to teach you something that's not going to work because your life matters. Seconds matter. And in those seconds, I want it to be where you're the winner, not the bad guy. So what do? I save lives through my lectures, through my seminars, and through my private coaching.
Right. Right. And so do you ever miss brick and mortar buildings? Like do you miss having that?
No,
Well, I'm saying right
because
now.
you're looking at if I were to do it all over again, then yeah, I would do it, but I would have a trained staff where it's not a 60 to 80 hour a week job for me. It's a lot of headaches and it's a second mortgage because you got the rent and utilities and insurance and everything for the brick and mortar on top of your house. And if you're not doing enough business in the brick and mortar, you're not going to be able to take care of that house. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. That's why I would like to consult and help martial arts schools with curriculum content and things like that so that they can learn from my mistakes what I would have, should have, could have done to continue having a successful brick and mortar school. Um, I do I want to do it now? Not at this stage or age. I'm 59 years old. I'd rather do the consulting and then ride into the sunset when I can't teach anymore.
Right, right, right. So it seems like you're really passionate about it, though. Like this is your
Oh,
passion.
I love this. This is yeah. I eat, sleep, dream, whatever. This is all I do. I love doing this.
Now I just picture you like at nighttime, laying down and watching Bruce Lee when you're going to bed.
Oh yeah, I fight my sleep. I have dreams.
It's really cool, man. Like, is there any interesting moments that stand out to you?
The best moments for me as an educator are when the students have the aha moments where they all of a sudden the light bulb goes off and they say, I understand or I got it. And that to me is the best feeling in the world where I help somebody get to a higher level of understanding with their personal safety and the safety of their families. So, are you married? Do you have kids?
Me? Yes.
Yeah.
Or no, no, no. I have kids, but I'm not married. No.
But when your kids are with you, you're their bodyguard. You're the person. You're the protector.
Yeah.
And for me to educate you on how to be the best bodyguard you can be to keep them safe, and you understand the importance of it, and you have a verbal plan of action, a physical plan of action, and an exit strategy to keep yourself and your kids safe. And when you understand that and you put it into play and you make it work, and you come back to me and say, thank you, you saved my life. You don't know how many people have come back to me that I've saved their life from me teaching them something. And this is from years ago. I've had guys that joined the military that what they learned in boot camp wasn't what saved their life. It was what I taught them that saved their life. I've had women, literally, one student that I had, she was abducted, thrown in the trunk of a car, and all she could do was think of, what did Mr. Ray teach me? and she was able to escape from that guy, get away from him. She sent me an email thanking me for saving her life. So, those are the moments that make it worth my while, that fuel me to want to continue educating the public.
That's really cool, man. Like it's really good to get them success stories or them hey, I've escaped this person's story.
Right.
So looking back on what you've done and stuff like that, and you can go back and redo it. Would there be anything, any classes you would take or anything you'd redo when you were younger?
Wow. That's a good question.
Stumped you.
I mean, I wouldn't change a thing. It molded me. Yeah, I tell people, look, I went to the school of hard knocks. I learned from my mistakes. I'm not perfect. I'm not the best martial arts. There's people that are more knowledgeable than me that I'm going to seek out to train with them and work with them. I'm good at what I do. I know a lot, but I'm still always learning. So basically, the only times I've ever stopped training or when I was either injured, and even then I still visually and mentally train, watching videos and things like that. Or if I was sick in bed or recovering from a surgery or something. I've never stopped training once I started at the age of 15, Monday through Sunday. I'm still training every day.
Right. That's really cool, man. Like to keep that energy flowing. That's really cool. Is there any like nutrition, like what you eat and stuff like that, that helps you
I'm
out?
not the person to ask on that. I like food too much. I need to lose about 50, 60 pounds myself, but it's everyone's different. Everybody's body metabolism is different. As long as you're training and routinely working out, and you eat a healthy diet, stay away from the fried foods and the fast foods, you'll be fine. I mean, you're getting your vitamin intakes. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to preach. I'm not a nutrition expert, so I'm not going to give any advice to people on that. I'd rather refer you to your next podcast interviewer that you would bring on and ask them those questions. But I'm not qualified to, give you those answers when it
Right,
comes to
right.
nutrition. I'm a fighter.
So you just
Uh,
walk up. That was all it was. It's really interesting though, man. You have like a really cool story. Um, and you said that where did you actually train at? What state you actually trained in?
so I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I moved to Florida about 3.5 years ago.
Right,
But most of the training that I've gotten was back home in St. Louis.
right, right. And let me see. So, which state did you like better? You like Florida better, or did you like?
Well, if you look at St. Louis right now, they're in the teens, and Florida is still in the 50s. So yeah, Florida. Even though this is the coldest it's been here in Florida, because we're getting all you Northerners are sending your cold weather down here to us.
Yeah, for sure.
But typically it's 60, 70 degree weather. I'm good here. No, I moved to Florida because from St. Louis, mainly because I didn't see myself retiring in St. Louis, and I wanted to go continue my business. And then when I retire, I wanted to go where I want to retire, so that was Florida.
Yeah, yeah, that's really cool. That's where a lot of people go, anyways, to retire. They get away
Yeah.
from this cold weather. Now it's funny because
Mhm.
it's 50 degrees out where you're at, but you go outside without a coat on or a sweater or anything, and you're like, oh, it's nice. Everybody around you's coats and
Exactly, exactly. I mean, I'm used to the St. Louis temperature, it being cold, so 50 degree isn't that bad out here. But everyone else, because they're used to the warm temperatures, 50 degrees is freezing cold to them.
right. Now, so do you have any seminars coming up? Like if somebody wanted to go to a seminar, do you have something scheduled?
Not at this time. I'm working on connecting with different martial arts schools to be venues for me to host me as a on whatever, whether it's weapons training or self defense or boxing, kickboxing. Once I get those partnerships set up, then I'll be posting that on my Facebook page where all the seminars are going to be. And I've got some stuff that I'm going to be going back to St. Louis and doing seminars back home in St. Louis. So to be it'll come in the future. You just gotta keep looking at my Facebook posts, and you'll know when everything's coming out. Hopefully I can set something up with you, come out to New York, hang out with you, and teach a lot of people some cool things.
It'll definitely be cool. Definitely. And I'm gonna post his Facebook link in the description. So anybody that wants to go check him out and and follow him on Facebook. I was about to say subscribe, but it's follow on Facebook.
Right.
Go follow him and he'll keep you updated on what he's doing. That's really
Abs-
cool. Like so your journey's been like a lot of fighting basically. Um
yes.
uh have you ever traveled overseas with it or just
No, I want to. That's the thing. I am a national presenter, speaker, whatever. I've been to 14 different states, and I want to do all 50 states. I want to do seminars in all 50 states, and I'm looking. I want to be an international presenter. Where I do lectures and seminars. So that's a my to-do list, or what do they call it? Your uh, bucket list. Yeah, part of my bucket list is to be an international speaker or presenter.
that'd be
So
really
it'll happen. Right now, I want to hit all 50 states. If I can travel internationally down in the near future, then we'll make that happen as well.
so if you offer private lessons, do you have prices or is that something that you work out at that time?
Private lessons are in person here in Florida. Now, I can maybe do a Zoom type private lesson. Teaching self defense, you have to have a partner. But again, with the video, if you're doing something wrong and I'm not there in person to correct it, there's always risk of injury. And that's why I don't have I don't do Zoom classes teaching self defense.
Right.
It's the in person that I can make sure nobody does something that gets them or their partners hurt. With that, it's 75 an hour. If you pre-purchase 4 sessions, then I discount it to 70 per hour. If you pre-purchase 8 sessions, then I discount it to 65 an hour.
Oh, so I mean, it's pretty good pricing though. It's definitely not bad pricing at all.
Yeah.
Really cheap. And the cost in Florida is like really high. So
It is, but for me, I come to you, I come to your house, so you don't have to worry about going to a martial arts school and, well, this is the only class times I have, or 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, or whatever. I come to you based on what's convenient to your schedule. You don't have to worry about getting a babysitter or anything like that. You just stay at home. I come there. Um, I train you. If you have to check on your kids, go check on your kids. Come back, and we go right back to training.
all right, that's really cool. I mean, that's really cool. Um, let me see what else do I have for you. I don't even know what else to ask you. Is there anything that I forgot to ask you that you'd like to mention?
No, just a lot of people don't take their personal safety seriously until something bad happens.
Yes.
That in my lectures I say, how many of you raise your hand if you buy car insurance? Raise your hand if you buy homeowners insurance. Raise your hand if you have health insurance and life insurance. All those insurance are just in case something happens so that you have something to fall back on. My training is your insurance policy. You're not going to go out and use what I teach you on a daily basis. You're not going to get into a fight every day of your life. Most people never get into a fight. But my training is an insurance policy for if it happens, I don't you have fight, flight, or freeze. If you can run, run. If you can fight, then learn how to fight. But the last thing I want you to do, I don't want you freezing, because when you freeze, you're dead.
Right. That's a good
You're
point.
done.
That's a really
I teach you how to fight. If you can't fight, then I teach you how to run. You run, you hide, and then if you have to, you ambush,
right.
and then you run again.
It's so funny because so I had a whole bunch of questions in my mind for you, but like as I'm asking you one question, you'll answer three of them right out of my mind. So then I start drawing blanks. It's like, what else do I ask him? You can tell you do this like for a living almost, like you do the podcasting. So it's that you're definitely really good at it.
Well, I appreciate you giving me the platform to speak to your audience, and hopefully we can do more together in the future.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
get you on my show.
Yeah, I'll definitely come on. And our co-host is not here today. I don't know if anybody noticed, but
Well, they're missing out.
yeah, he's actually sick, so had to miss work today and everything. So this weather, man, I'm telling you, it's this cold weather. It dropped down to like 5 degrees, 4 degrees.
Right.
We're pretty cold.
Well, I hope he feels better soon.
Right. Is there any last advice you'd like to give people? I think you gave it.
The biggest thing is that gets people in trouble is a three-letter word, and that's ego. If you keep your ego in check, where you swallow your pride, it's not worth it. It's just because you win a fight, but you still have to go to the hospital and fix a broken wrist or anything like that because you punched the person the wrong way. You might have won the fight, but did you really win? If you walk away injured, if you walk away not being able to do your job, which means if you can't do your job, you can't provide for your family, and that's a snowball effect. Keep your ego in check. Be prepared. It's strength. It's kind of like with the military. You want strength. What's the word I'm trying to use? Peace through power. Does that make sense? I have a whole military behind me that I can use, and nobody wants to mess with us as the United States, so we have peace. So, for me, talking to civilians or military operators or law enforcement, it's peace through strength is the phrase that I was looking for. You have so I'll end on this. Finish this phrase for me. Knowledge is
Power.
okay. That's a phrase everyone's familiar with. Knowledge is power. To me, that is an incorrect phrase. I can give you knowledge, but if you don't practice it and you don't know how to apply it, you have zero power. So knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. I teach you how to apply something, and once you've repetitively done it over and over again so that it becomes second nature to you, where you don't even think twice about it, you are able to apply that knowledge. Now you have power.
Right. That's really good. Some Mike in the comments wrote the one thing in karate you have to is catch a chicken.
Is what?
In a karate lesson, you have to catch a chicken.
He's been watching too many movies, whether it's Rocky movies or Karate Kid movies or whatever else. No, I'm not going to make you catch a chicken.
Right? No, yeah, definitely. I'm wondering, Mike, did you mean it like you got to catch a chicken to learn karate, or did you mean it like,
You got to be fast enough to.
yeah, like to be a chicken or run from people? Like, what are you? Yep, that's our viewers right there. But yeah, I mean, this has definitely been fun having you on, and I mean, would definitely want you back. if you wanted to come back.
Absolutely, absolutely. If they have more questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them
Oh, right.
in
Yeah.
a future
Anybody have any
podcast.
other questions? Mike? Nothing? No questions?
I hear crickets.
Yeah, me too. Well, it is delayed a little bit from
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah.
I saw it in a movie. So you seen it in a movie.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did actually. That's how he got his karate lessons from a movie.
That, believe it or not, most people they see something, they watch UFC, and they think that they know something from watching it.
Hmm.
Unless you pressure test yourself, um, you have adrenaline stress response time. You have to be pressure tested to get that adrenaline going to see if you're gonna fight, flight, run, or freeze. So after I've trained my students, especially my private students, once I teach them, I pressure test everybody to see if they're going to break under pressure. And it's reality based training. If your school, martial arts school, is not doing reality based training, then you're not learning anything that's really going to save your life.
Right. That's definitely true. Now he says Beverly Hills Ninja.
Yes, I remember that movie very well. I think what was the big guy comedian? I don't think he's alive anymore. Um,
Chris?
I forget his name. Chris Farley.
Yeah, that's what yeah,
Yeah, yeah, Chris Farley. Yeah.
yeah. Definitely
I got most of my training from the Three Stooges, so there you are.
um that that just dated you as well, so
Yep.
it's definitely an older show. But yeah, I mean, we'd definitely let you back like you back on. I mean, this has been interesting. And I want to see if we can get you with a seminar set up. That'd be really cool. Like maybe
Well, let's talk it up to everyone around you, and let's make it happen. I'd love to come see you in New York and play with everyone out there.
unless you want to come in the winter.
It doesn't matter.
Do you want to come and join us in this 5-degree weather?
Why not?
You got to have a coat. You still own coats?
I still have all my winter coats. Yeah, I've got all that, so
All right.
it's
But
no
yeah,
big
I
deal.
mean, definitely would like you back on. And hey, everybody have a good night.
All right, guys, we'll see you.
Uh, end. All right. Sometimes it doesn't end. Damn, you uploaded mad quick. You guys must have fast internet there in Florida.